tried to silence him. They erased his name. But he rebuilt from nothing. He fought every algorithm. They tried again and failed. Now he's back, stronger. From blackout to spotlight, he's at the White House, at the top of his game. Franchi lives.
You are about to enter another dimension, the dimension of truth, unfiltered and uncensored. Welcome to the Raw Feed with Gary Franchi.
Truth, suppressed, family, shattered, people, abandoned, lines, broken. The Raw Feed starts now.
Welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the heart of America. Unfiltered truth to millions on YouTube. Hit those donation links below. Every contribution powers our gear. Every contribution keeps the party going. Help me help you. Hit those donation links. YouTube channel memberships. Special acknowledgement in the fellowship. Your super chats keep me standing. Your Rumble rants fuel every round.
Say hello to super chats.
Spread the intel. Every repost extends our reach.
Super chats fuel this spectacle. Your Rumble rants give me strength.
24/7 members-only community, behind-the-scenes discussions.
Connect with fellow patriots.
My mama always said, life is like sharing the truth. Text this stream to your friends. What if I told you the app is real? Download the Next News Network app. Android users, take the Google Play path. iPhone users, App Store awaits.
What seemed impossible may have just become inevitable. Every secret they swore would stay buried forever is clawing its way to the surface. Tonight, we're documenting the death throes of the deep state's darkest operations. Good evening, Patriots. I'm Gary Franchi. This is the Raw Feed. where we deliver the unfiltered truth that makes Washington, D.C. squirm. Now, let me take you back to this day in history, November 17th, 1973. That's when President Nixon delivered his infamous "I am not a crook" speech during the height of Watergate. 52 years later, we're witnessing another massive cover-up unravel, except this time it involves an assassination attempt, foreign blackmail operations, and the systematic destruction of American sovereignty. And just like Nixon's denials couldn't stop the truth from emerging, today's establishment can't contain the flood of revelations pouring out. The Thomas Crooks assassination files are leaking faster than the FBI can classify them. Tucker Carlson just exposed what federal agents swore didn't exist: Crooks' massive digital footprint, foreign email accounts, and connections that lead straight to the heart of America's intelligence apparatus. Think about it. Nixon's lies about a hotel break-in brought down a presidency. Today's lies involve actual bullets fired at a former president at the time. And the cover-up machine is working overtime. But here's what they didn't count on. The truth has a way of surfacing, especially when brave Americans refuse to stay silent. And speaking of crumbling narratives, the MAGA movement just experienced its own Civil War moment. Trump's dismissal of Marjorie Taylor Greene, stating, quote, "Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her," has triggered something unprecedented. MTG's response demanding the full release of all Epstein files, even if Trump's name appears. The woman who stood by Trump through everything is now facing bomb threats after he labeled her a traitor. This isn't just political theater. It's a foundational fracture that threatens to split the America First movement right down the middle. But I do believe we know which side most people will end up on. And those Epstein files, they've become a third rail of American politics. Everybody wants transparency until their names might surface. Trump's calling for full release because he knows he has nothing to hide. But the panic from Democrats and establishment Republicans tells you everything about how explosive these documents must be for them. We're talking about a blackmail operation that potentially compromised every level of government, from Congress to the courts to the intelligence agencies themselves. Meanwhile, the Obamacare house of cards continues to collapse. After 15 years of lies, even Democrats can't pretend anymore. Insurance companies made 1,000% gains while American families went bankrupt. Dr. Oz revealing the COVID subsidy scam, brokers signing up phantom patients for government cash. The system isn't broken, don't worry, because it's working exactly as designed. From transfer of wealth, from taxpayers to corporate coffers, and now the whole scheme exposed. You see, they're scrambling to blame anyone but themselves. But nothing shakes the establishment more than Trump's border enforcement earthquake. Now, this is no longer campaign rhetoric. Military units are mobilizing. Deportation infrastructure being assembled. Sanctuary city mayors having emergency meetings. The great replacement agenda is about to meet the great deportation reality. What we're witnessing is the beginning of the largest law enforcement operation in American history. So today we're not just reporting news. We are effectively documenting the collapse of every lie that they told you was the truth. From who tried to kill Trump, who controlled Epstein, to who profits from open borders and broken health care. The whole rotten structure's coming crashing down. 5 stories, one theme. The empire of deception is crumbling, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. So stay with us tonight for the full breakdown. This is history in the making, and you're watching it live right here on the Raw feed. Let's welcome you to the show. Who's in the house tonight? Let's give everybody a nice warm welcome. Want to see everybody here. We got Jeffrey and Queen Bee and Jeremy and Deborah, Mrs. Pothead Kenny, Karen Finley, everyone filing in. Bobby is here, and Roger and Dennis and Soy. Great to see everybody coming in. We got Bills. We've got Truthy Ruthie dropping a $10 super sticker right out the gate. Thank you so much for that. Super stickers, super chats, they keep us rolling along. Looks like, Truthy, I'm sorry, but James Fay had you beat. Yeah, he hit $10 just before you did. So, James Fay, thank you so much for that. Hello, N3 Patriots. Truthy Ruthie, $10. Thank you for that. And Ascenth Cruz dropping $2 as well. Thank you so much for that. We sincerely appreciate that. Our goal tonight, $100. I know we can hit it. Seems like a small number in some cases to some YouTubers, but we don't ask much. And if you can, tap share, copy the link, send it out to your friends, do it through text message. If you're watching on X, go ahead and repost. If you're watching on Facebook, hit share. If you're watching on LinkedIn or even Instagram, those are places. Share the feed. Helps us increase the amount of people we wake up with every broadcast. And Queen Bee's Archive has been a member for 10 months. Awesome. Well, that's very beautiful. Thank you, Queen Bee, for being here. So we've got lots of news to unpack tonight. I'll get back to the chat room in a little bit after the next show. Interview Candace. Oh, no. Not even going to go there. Not even going there. Yeah, don't get me started on that topic at the moment, please, because I have a lot to say on that. Okay. They told you Thomas Crooks was a ghost. No digital footprint, no foreign connections, no motive. Just another lone gunman with no history. But Tucker Carlson's new documentary is challenging everything. What he claims to have discovered about the man who came within a quarter inch of changing history forever has Washington freaking out. Some are calling it proof of a cover-up. Others say it's speculation. But one thing is certain, people are asking questions they may not want answered. So keep on watching. Now, this isn't just about one failed assassination. This is about whether we can trust anything they tell us about threats to our republic. Think about what's at stake here. If Tucker's allegations are true, if there really are hidden foreign email accounts, thousands of Trump searches, and intelligence connections being buried, what else might they be hiding? And who are they? See, every American who believes in transparency, who thinks we deserve the truth about who tries to kill our leaders, should be demanding answers. But if legitimate questions about an assassination attempt can be dismissed without investigation, if we're told to just move on without getting real answers, then we're admitting that some questions are just too dangerous to ask, that some investigations are too sensitive to pursue. And as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring. But one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com today for your free wealth protection kit and find out how you can get those 10 1-ounce silver coins, holiday coins with qualified accounts. 877-646-5347. They are waiting to hear from you. But here's where it gets really interesting. Eric Trump himself is now publicly saying he's pissed off that we have no answers, stating nothing about it looks right. Representative Tim Burchett is making explosive allegations about mind control programs, claiming that Crooks was programmed. And Tucker claims to have found foreign email accounts from Germany and Belgium, claims the new FBI director is reportedly dismissing. The Secret Service failures are documented fact. Crooks' drone did fly for 11 minutes. Their anti-drone system was down and the building he used lacked surveillance. Coincidence? That's what they want you to think. So let's jump into this. Everyone's talking about Scott Adams, Tim Pool, Mario Nawfal, MJ Truth Ultra. Here's Eric Trump. He's not satisfied, and he's pissed we don't have answers. Listen.
Pissed off about it. Are you satisfied with the answers that we've got from the Butler
No.
assassination attempt?
No.
Thomas Crooks, 20 years old. Why do we know nothing?
We know nothing.
Yeah. Why?
In fact, I'm not only am I unsatisfied, I'm wholly pissed off about it. And I remain unpissed off. I remain pissed off about it. We know nothing. We see a picture of a kid who looks like he's 14 years old.
Yeah.
And we've seen no other pictures of him. We don't know who he is. We know he has multiple cell phones. Trying to figure out what 20-year-old has multiple cell phones. The kid was cremated in like 5 days or 6 days. Like, give me a break. Like most family pets.
No autopsy.
Take longer to be cremated. I am very far away from being a conspiracy theorist, but nothing about it looks right. We know nothing about this guy. Yet they decided to go in and deprive every single January 6th grandmother who walked through the Capitol, right, and took a selfie. They know everything about them. They got into their phones. They violated their rights. They found everything that they could. They put real effort into it, and we don't know a damn thing. And I am wholly unsatisfied.
Now, I've said this before. I'll say it again. What happened in Butler was the culmination of every single attempt to stop President Trump. It was the culmination. It was the last act. And of course, what happened at Trump Doral was really the second act of a two-part play, the assassination of Donald Trump. That failed spectacularly because God's hand was on Donald Trump that day and continues to be on his head. So we've talked about the Russia conspiracy. That's all unraveling now. But every single moment, every attack, every attempt to silence him, jail him, slow him down, stifle him, roadblock him, whatever you want to call it, has all spectacularly failed. And that is why Butler occurred. That is my belief. Because they had to stop him. And there are way too many anomalies about that day. Way too many. I mean, they left that rooftop wide open. Wide open. Now, Tim Pool brought this up on his show 5 hours ago. Thomas Matthew Crooks, they, them. So he's got pronouns now. They, them. What does that tell you? Sounds very similar to what we saw happen with Charlie Kirk, right? We had some furry weirdo hanging out on Discord and, whatever he was doing. But now we're finding a connection. They, them. Let's listen to what Tim has to say real quick.
The FBI of covering up information on Thomas Matthew Crooks, the man who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump, putting a bullet across his ear. We're now learning that the individual went by they, them, completely flipped his ideology, and appears to have been a leftist trans furry.
Wow. And I think it's not just wow about that. It's wow that we're learning about this now. I mean, we learned about the furry attack on Charlie Kirk. We had answers rather quickly in that respect. But how long has it been since Butler? It's been over a year? And now we're finding this out?
Once again, a story of someone holding this strange fetish, much like we've seen in the Charlie Kirk investigation. Now, of course, there are many people who are claiming the Charlie Kirk investigation is not true, that the FBI is once again putting out false information. But here's the sort of contradiction, I guess. The FBI under Joe Biden withheld information on Thomas Crooks, it is alleged. We are now getting information from Tucker Carlson. He put out this report.
I love it. Alleged. You got to remember to say alleged.
Showing the individual in question, and the New York Post has written this up as well, that this individual actually was a they-them with a furry fetish. We then get the story from the FBI under Trump pertaining to the Charlie Kirk assassination. And that is a transgender furry boyfriend assassinated Charlie Kirk. So I want to take a look at this because, well, both can't be true. I mean, not necessarily that both can't be true, but it is strange under the Trump administration, the stance of the FBI is now we're learning all of this about, these transgender furries. Why would Joe Biden withhold this information? Why was his administration withhold it? Trump's administration would publish it. Dare I say, my friends, this could all just be political. That is, we don't really know the motivation of Thomas Matthew Crooks, but according to the evidence that Tucker Carlson has put out and others have highlighted and reported on, he's a they, them.
Okay, so we're going to get to Tucker Carlson's remarks in a moment here. But we have this. This is 72 hours ago. Mike Benz on Fox News. Thomas Crooks is defying the laws of surveillance state physics. Mario Naval going deeper. Thomas Crooks is defying the laws of surveillance state physics. The question is whether Crooks was cultivated, monitored, or potentially interacted with federal law enforcement agents who put him into that. I think the total lack of transparency is almost defying the laws of surveillance state physics. Most people believe that if federal law enforcement were to get a hold of their phone, pretty much everything could be scraped from it. Let's listen.
Actually had it back.
My next guest,
or sources that then go on to commit crimes that the same agencies recruiting them failed to stop. And the question is whether they deliberately failed to stop them if they do recruit them in informants. In this case, all of this was in-house at DHS. Secret Service is folded under DHS, and Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, is folded under DHS. So if there were some sort of federal government touch points in terms of this assassination attempt, it could have all been kept in a very closed loop in-house. And this is important because in the January 6th case, we now know that there were more than twice as many DHS federal informants in the crowd on January 6th who DHS had recruited through HSI than even the FBI had. So HSI had twice a bigger role in recruiting informants to participate in January 6th than FBI. And you now have, as you mentioned, 43 visits to the same gun range that DHS then used just one day after Crooks had visited. The logs show that on May 22nd, about a month and a half before the shooting, Crooks was there, and the very next day, DHS held an event there and training. If DHS HSI contacts had come in contact with Crooks at that gun range or in advance of that and had foreknowledge that Crooks had intended to take a shot or was talking in a sort of assassination-adjacent rhetoric, that could have been pulled off very easily in terms of telling people not to take to the roof. And nobody would have known. The Justice Department wouldn't have known. It could have been all kept in-house. So I think HSI really has to be interrogated on this at a much more intensive level.
Wow, HSI, Homeland Security Investigations. Tucker Carlson demanding answers on Thomas Crooks, and the silence is loud. Tucker breaks down the unanswered questions around Thomas Crooks, asking why the key details about the timeline, security lapses, and federal awareness still don't add up. Thomas is shown moving in and out of restricted areas that officials insist everything was handled according to protocol, which is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Let's listen to what Tucker has to say here. We've got a couple more clips, but let's get the gist
Crooks's
right now.
cremation of lying and obstruction is shocking. Less than a month after the shooting, Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana, a former police officer, traveled to Butler to conduct his own investigation into what happened. When he arrived, he discovered a disturbing fact. The FBI released Crooks's body for cremation 10 days after July 13th. This wasn't known to the public until Higgins arrived in Butler on August 5th, when the coroner told the congressman, quote, he would never have released Crooks's body to the family for cremation or burial without specific permission from the FBI. The timing of Crooks's cremation is notable. The day Crooks's body was burned was also the day the House Homeland Security and Oversight Committees had begun their investigations into the shooting. The fact the body was cremated made it impossible for investigators outside the FBI to verify the coroner and autopsy report. You can't do a new tox screen because the body doesn't exist. According to Higgins, quote, this action by the FBI can only be described by any reasonable man as an obstruction to any following investigative effort. Another notable detail is that photos from the day after the shooting show an FBI agent hosing down the site where Crooks died. High-level intelligence officials and congressional sources told us this is very strange, and that the FBI usually hires out crime scene cleanup to third-party contractors. But in this case, they did it themselves, leaving no blood and no tissue for anyone else to analyze. In the photo, the agent's shirt says he's from the Technical Hazards Response Unit, a unit that collects traditional forensic evidence contaminated with hazardous materials. After the shooting, the FBI sent Crooks' phone to the Bureau's laboratory at Quantico, Virginia. Agents there were able to open it in less than 40 minutes using technology from an Israeli tech firm called Celebrate. According to the Post, FBI officials who served under President Joe Biden accessed Crooks' phone, computer, and his encrypted messaging apps in Belgium, New Zealand, and Germany. Yet none of the online activity the FBI has discovered was referred to in any way in the final congressional report that was released in December of 2024. Of lying and obstruction is shocking.
Oh man, the
Less
rabbit
than a
hole
month-
goes deep. And we're just starting to climb down it, folks, so buckle up. Here, even more from Tucker.
Early 2019, no doubt that Crooks was ripe for recruitment by someone. From early 2019 to mid-2020, as his political views were evolving, Crooks searched for Trump more than 700 times online. He also searched for Jack Ruby, the man who assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald. He then submitted queries for craziest chemical reactions, cars running over protesters, best places for mass shooting El Paso, Trump Civil War, Orlando shooting reaction, firing an AR-15 as fast as possible, fertilizer bomb, how to make napalm, how to make a Molotov cocktail, mass shooting Canada, Oklahoma bombing, and sniper in Dallas shooting. He also searched for American Nazi Party, German national anthem 1933-1945, Hitler's speeches with subtitles, neo-Nazis, and, quote, why gays need to go. No doubt that Crooks was ripe for recruitment.
Why gays need to go. Interesting now that we're finding out he was using pronouns. Okay, let's, Tucker reveals that Thomas Crooks had 2 foreign email accounts, one from Germany, but first he discusses how he got his information. Start with the phone, listed in legal documents, led to his primary email account. Dozens of other social media led to 2 foreign email accounts.
Phone number led. In late September, we received a tip from a source. He told us he'd gained access to some of Thomas Crooks' accounts. He'd found these accounts by utilizing tools commonly used by private investigators. The key lead was Thomas Crooks' phone number. That was published in documents obtained by America First Legal. That phone number led our source to Thomas Crooks' primary email account, tmcrooks7@gmail.com. That in turn, he linked with more than a dozen other accounts. That list includes 2 foreign encrypted email accounts, AmericanGamer@gmx.com, a German website, and bcook@mailfence.com, a Belgian website. Crooks had a Snapchat, Tom_Crooks19, a Venmo account, Thomas-Crooks12, a PayPal account under the alias Rod Swanson, a Zelle registered as Thomas Crooks, as well as accounts on Discord, a Google Play account called Colossal Microwave, a Quizlet titled Thomas_Crooks, a chess.com with the same name, and 2 disabled Quora accounts under the handles Thomas Crooks 8 and Thomas Crooks 3. It turns out that Thomas Crooks was hardly an online ghost. He was active, and yet federal investigators lied and told us there was no trace of him online. Some of Crooks' accounts, like his Snapchat, appear to have been fully deactivated and completely taken out of use. Some of them may have been unused or cleared by federal officials during the investigation. We don't know because the FBI wouldn't tell us. In late September,
The FBI wouldn't tell us, and we have no answers. 72 hours ago, FBI Director Kash Patel dismisses Tucker Carlson's claims about Trump's would-be assassin. This is the New York Post. Let's dive a little bit deeper. FBI Director Kash Patel shared details Friday about the Bureau's investigation into Thomas Crooks after Tucker Carlson alleged President Trump's would-be assassin left digital warnings that he was planning an attack. The former Fox News host has accused the FBI of lying about Crooks' online footprint and revealed disturbing social media comments Friday purportedly made by the 20-year-old in the years leading up to the July 13th, 2024 shooting at the Trump rally, suggesting he may not have been a lone wolf. The investigation, conducted by over 480 FBI employees, revealed Crooks had limited online and in-person interactions, planned and conducted the attack alone, and did not leak or share his intent to engage in the attack with anyone. That's what Patel wrote on X, providing an overview of the case. As part of the investigation, the FBI director said the Bureau conducted over 1,000 interviews, addressed over 2,000 public tips, analyzed data extracted from 13 seized digital devices, reviewed nearly 500,000 digital files, collected, processed, and synchronized hundreds of hours of video footage, analyzed financial activity from 10 different accounts, and examined data associated with 25 social media or online forum accounts. The FBI's new Rapid Response X account had previously dismissed Carlson's characterization of the Bureau's findings. The FBI has never said Thomas Crooks had no online footprint ever, said a post from the account on Thursday. So the FBI pushing back, Rapid Response 47 pushing back. Everything is getting even weirder. Of course, who could forget the BlackRock commercial with Thomas Crooks? That surfaced just, maybe hours after the assassination. Tucker Carlson network releasing never-before-seen footage of Thomas Crooks' assassin. The FBI tried to hide from the public, they say. Crooks came within a quarter inch of destroying the country, and yet here a year and a half later, we still know nothing about him. That's because, for some reason, the FBI, even the current FBI, doesn't want us to know.
Almost nothing. These are videos the FBI has worked hard to make sure you haven't seen. They're from the Google Drive account of Thomas Crooks, the man who on July 13th, 2024, showed up at the Butler County, Pennsylvania fairgrounds and tried to assassinate the frontrunner, Donald Trump.
Take a look at what happened.
That day, Thomas Crooks came within a quarter inch of destroying this country. And yet, a year and a half later, we still know almost nothing about him or why he did it. That's because, for some reason, the FBI, even the current FBI, doesn't want us to know.
Now, that video of him holding the handgun, for some reason, I feel like we've seen that before. So I'm not sure exactly how new it is. But that first shot of him close up, I haven't seen that. 48 hours ago, Wall Street Apes writes, everyone say it with me, inside job. The officer who shot the man who tried to assassinate Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, same guy who organized Trump's protection and is responsible for the lack of security. The guy who shot Thomas Crooks, there were bullets flying all over the place, but it was a catastrophic, poorly set up defense of Trump. But the guy who shot Thomas Crooks was the same guy who organized protection of Trump. So the guy who was in charge of making sure that after the assassination was done, he popped the assassination and is somehow not getting prosecuted. Why am I not shocked? Let's listen. This is, who is he talking to here?
That's obviously the question. I mean, you can look at all of these different stories, particularly the acts of violence, which are, because they are acts of violence, are, examined much more closely than any other kind of act. And it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the shooting of Trump a year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania.
I wrote about that too. Everything. Do you know what I just read the other day? The guy who shot Thomas Crooks, right? There were bullets flying all over that place. But it was a catastrophically poorly set up defense of Trump. But the guy who shot Thomas Crooks was the same guy who organized the protection of Trump. And they say, he didn't get convicted of anything and other guys didn't. I go, well, so the guy who was in charge of making sure that after the assassination was done, he popped the assassin, is somehow not getting prosecuted. Why am I not shocked?
So you're saying he was the Jack Ruby figure here?
He was the Jack Ruby figure, yes. So what was odd about that story? Well, first of all the news agencies were there. This was a totally irrelevant rally in an irrelevant place, Butler, Pennsylvania. And there's a stranger story there. And again, I just pick up these shards and sometimes they fit together into a story and sometimes it's just put it in your head, keep it there until you get more detail. There's a guy sitting behind Trump named Joseph Fusca. Fusca is his last name.
I know him.
I've seen him before many times. He was, by the QAnon guys, which are a bunch of whack jobs, said to be, you're not going to believe it, said to be John F. Kennedy Jr., waiting to come back and save the world. And I'm going, oh, you guys have lost your minds finally. You've really gone. It doesn't matter that that's a total crock. Fusca is this guy, and they say now his name is Fusca and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But he's one who supposedly is JFK Jr. in disguise. Fusca was there sitting right behind Trump. I go, of all the rallies, there he is.
Who is he?
I don't know.
Okay, just chill out, dude. All right. I've met that guy. He's clearly not JFK Jr. at all. He's just a Trump supporter who goes to like every single event. Yes, I remember he was the guy sitting behind and he didn't move. He didn't seem shocked. And yes, I have a feeling I know where they're about to go with this, and I don't even need to go there. But Vincent is not a party to this in any capacity. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so that he lost me on that one. I mean, going down that rabbit hole. And of course, there's always this point that people bring up. CNN was the only one that live streamed. That was the only one rally that they live streamed.
Crooks' father found
the media really are a player in all this. They're not just like dupes. They're not just, the PR office.
I mean, maybe they got a tip. I mean, they got a tip about Roger Stone. Remember? They were ready. Cameras rolling for that moment.
For the regime, they are like they are players. They're active participants in totalitarianism, I would say.
Do you know how Crooks' father found out his son was the shooter?
No.
CNN called him.
Really?
Yeah. Well, we're talking about kind of like weird, creepy media stuff.
Yeah.
So there's no ID on Thomas Crooks. They get to the body. He's dead. They don't know who he is. The only thing they have is a serial number on his rifle. So they call up ATF and they do what's called an urgent trace to figure out where was this gun bought. And I think it takes them, Dettelbach, the ATF director, says it took him 30 minutes. I think it took like 2 hours. But they know by around like 8:30, definitely by 9-ish, that the dad bought the gun and where he bought it from. And it was from a retailer that had since been closed. They put together a report, like a pretty narrow distribution of people. I think it went to Pennsylvania State Police, so local police could go stake the place out. Went to FBI. ATF had it, but it's a very, very small distribution. And we know because we got the testimony from the guy who sent it out. ATF and a couple cops are sent to go do a stakeout on Crooks' father's house. So they get there, we'll call it like 10 or 10:30. At that point, they're already seeing cars slowly drive by in ways that obviously they don't live on that street. And I think 10:50.
The media really are a player in all this. They're not just like.
That's wild. CNN was the one to tell the father. Secret Service has some explaining to do. Chicago One Ray. Thomas Crooks flew his drone over the site for 11 minutes. Just so happens Secret Service anti-drone system was down at the same time. The building he climbed up on was the only one that didn't have surveillance. Do you think this was an inside job?
At exactly is that on the day of the attacks, Thomas Crooks got extremely lucky, miraculously lucky. After he arrived at the Butler County Fairgrounds on the morning of the shooting, Thomas Crooks conducted surveillance by flying his drone over the rally site. He flew that drone for 11 minutes. It just so happened the Secret Service's anti-drone system were down at exactly the same moment. What are the odds? Later that afternoon, police officers saw Crooks loitering with a backpack and a rangefinder. They identified him as a suspicious person, which he clearly was, but quickly lost track of him. And so Crooks climbed to the top of the American Glass Research.
Reminds me of that famous moment when JFK was assassinated. You know where I'm going with this, right? When the Secret Service jumped off the back of JFK's limo. Feels the same. Secret Service gets the phone call from the top, jump off the limo. And who can ever forget that one Secret Service agent throwing his hands up going, "What are you doing? This is crazy." So in the very same moment, "Oh, don't worry. We're going to go ahead and we'll make sure that those the anti-drone tech we're deploying, Thomas, it'll be down for precisely this many minutes. You'll have this much time to conduct your surveillance with your drone. So don't worry. Right? Feels exactly the same.
Building. That happened to be the only building in the area that did not have a video surveillance system. It was also, remarkably, inexplicably, outside the Secret Service's security perimeter, despite the fact it was very close to the stage. 2 local police officers assigned to the building saw Crooks, but they didn't report him. A third officer who was supposed to be there left early. At 6 is that on the day of the attacks, Thomas Crooks got
stand down orders, surveillance failures, exposed roofs. I mean, dude, there is just so much here. Thomas Matthew Crooks, New York Post, had a furry and trans fetish just like Tyler Robinson. How do these people have furry and trans fetishes? Very suspicious. He described himself with the pronouns they, them on the platform DeviantArt, which is one of the biggest online hubs for furry art and furry community. Furry is someone who has an interest in anthropomorphized animal characters, often as a sexual fetish. Timber Chet says that Trump assassin Crooks was groomed by the CIA and MK-Ultra mind control programs and dark intelligence ops for the sole purpose of taking out President Trump and Butler. He says they programmed this kid.
Had access to guns or has some simple knowledge of a MK-Ultra.
I'm going to toss to you. That's right. Yep.
They got sued. They said it didn't exist. And then they got sued and they said, oh, it exists, but we don't use it anymore. So I don't believe them as far as I can throw the dome off the dadgum Capitol, Benny. You got a kid who's got access to guns or has some simple knowledge of a firearm. He was programmed. You're exactly right. They programmed this kid, and Kristi Noem and Cash and Bongino and the rest are reporting the facts as they know them. The facts have been buried or burned, or whoever knew is either sitting on a beach somewhere and enjoying a fruity drink, or they're dead. I would suggest they're probably dead. And this is what happens. You claim it doesn't. They label me and you conspiracy theorists, but this is exactly what we see happen. And it happens in Washington. It's happening now. It's too deep. It is. And that's why I said, I wish they could go in and just fire everybody and then just start back. But you can't do that because of security. You're going to fire some good people that are clearly have their thumb in the dike on terrorists or what have you. And that's where we're at. That's where
we're at right now, folks. You have a sitting member of Congress openly saying this was a CIA op, MK Ultra. Think about that for a moment. Andrew Colvett, President Trump's would-be assassin, was entertaining a furry fetish like Tyler Robinson. He used they, them pronouns on social media. Thomas Crooks had no social media online presence. FBI Director Kash Patel. Thomas Crooks used they, them pronouns according to newly uncovered accounts. You just saw the accounts he had. Trump shooter secrets exposed 14 hours ago. Cover of the New York Post. Today's cover, FBI Director Kash Patel dismisses Carlson's claims about would-be Trump assassin Crooks. Trump shooter secrets exposed. Why didn't the FBI stop him earlier? Here is the video that was released by Tucker. This is the full video.
On July 13th, 2024, showed up at the Butler County, Pennsylvania fairgrounds and tried to assassinate the frontrunner, Donald Trump.
And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know.
So here's what Tucker's documentary claims. Crooks searched for Trump over 700 times between 2019 and 2020. He allegedly searched for Jack Ruby, JFK's assassin's killer. The New York Post is now reporting claims about they, them pronouns and furry community connections, though FBI Director Kash Patel is dismissing these revelations. But why? Why dismiss instead of investigate? Why silence instead of transparency? The pushback itself raises more questions than answers. So this is bigger than just one shooting. This is about whether we live in a country where serious questions get serious investigations, or where asking the wrong questions gets you labeled a conspiracy theorist. You see, they want you to forget Thomas Crooks. They want you to stop demanding answers. But every day, more claims surface, more people speak out, more officials demand transparency. And the fact that Eric Trump and sitting congressmen are publicly expressing frustration tells you something is not right. Now, whether Tucker's claims prove true or not, one thing is clear. Americans deserve real answers about what happened in Butler, not dismissals, not deflections. So here's my question for you. We'll have a conversation in the comment section. Do you think we're getting the full truth about Thomas Crooks? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments, and if you want to support real journalism that isn't afraid to ask the tough questions, check out our merch shop. It's linked below. Okay. What's up, guys? Tina Casper dropping $5. Thank you so much for that. Ira Kozak, $1.99. Thank you for getting us the truth. And then Ira Kozak returns with another one. Thank you for getting us the truth, but $9.99 this time. Thank you, Ira. Sincerely. And Ira has just become a member and upgraded their membership. Remember, members have exclusive access to our Discord chat room where you can hang out with other viewers and supporters of this program 24/7. Share links and memes and conversation, have live chat, and do all kinds of fun stuff. It's a good group of people. I jump in there from time to time when I can. You should too, if you haven't yet. Maybe somebody will put that link in the description, and we can get that shared with everybody who doesn't know how to quite get there yet. Also, once you become a member, you have access to the Discord, and you also have access to the Next News Network app, which is a social media, social networking interface where you can also communicate, share, you can even have ads. You can even present ads. It's pretty wild stuff. Put together by my friends over there at minds.com, just for us. Chris Orr dropping $10. What's up? Thank you so much. Thank you sincerely. All right, we're going to get to our next topic of the evening. This MTG firestorm, a real family feud happening right now. Something unprecedented is tearing through the heart of the MAGA movement. Two of America's strongest fighters, President Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, are locked in a public battle that nobody saw coming. President Trump, quote, "Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her," end quote. She fires back, demanding full transparency on sensitive files, and now she's facing bomb threats. Democrats are trying to poach her. Alex Jones warns this split could derail everything. So how did two warriors end up at war? Well, you see, this is painful to watch. Two champions of the America First agenda, two people who sacrificed everything for this movement, and now in conflict? And the timing couldn't be worse. While they're fighting, the establishment's unified. While they're divided, the deep state's mobilizing. Marjorie Taylor Greene's been a fearless voice for transparency, exactly what voters want. Trump has been strategically managing complex political battles, exactly what leadership requires. Now, both are right in their own way, but this public split is giving ammunition to every enemy of the MAGA agenda. The media is salivating. Democrats are exploiting it. Rhinos are celebrating. When your strongest allies become adversaries, and when your best fighters aim at each other instead of the swamp, everybody loses except the establishment. But as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. There's one thing that we've all learned. It's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world that we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal is not a plan. It's a gamble. For over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Now, look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital. It's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, Sincerely, take one smart step towards a safer future. Visit my friends, my trusted friends at nextnewsgold.com. It's linked below. Or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347. Tell Colin that I said hello and ask him how you can get those 10 silver holiday coins because you want some great stocking stuffers. How you qualify. So the situation, it is spiraling fast. Marjorie Taylor Greene's office is getting bomb threats and harassment. Democrat Jamie Raskin is publicly inviting her to switch parties. A move so cynical it exposes how badly they want this split to continue. Alex Jones, who supports both Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, is desperately trying to broker peace, warning this fight threatens to destabilize 47's agenda to save the republic. He's urging Trump to focus on real enemies like Lindsey Graham instead of MAGA allies. Foreign media is reporting details U.S. outlets won't touch. The base is confused, divided, and worried. Two heroes are fighting while the real villains watch and wait. So here's President Trump just 24 hours ago.
Taylor Greene.
Her life could be in danger because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Her life could be in danger.
Did you catch that? He called her Marjorie Taylor Greene. Listen carefully.
Because of the rhetoric.
Her life is in danger? Who's that?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, she says.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't think her life is in danger. Frankly, I don't think anybody cares about her.
Wow. He just went there. He just coined a name for her that is not good. I mean, President Trump has names for everybody. Some good, some bad. Here we have this. 5 hours ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene wants all the Epstein files released, including mentions of Trump.
Victims. The president's negative comments about Greene come as she continues to push for the Justice Department to release all files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
These women have been waiting, some of them for decades. I talked to several victims that were raped by Jeffrey Epstein back in the 90s. And so this is information that has needed to come out for a very long time, and the American people have demanded it.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said Wednesday that a bill that calls for the release of all the Justice Department's Jeffrey Epstein case files will be put to a vote next week.
Meanwhile, a number of restrictions that were imposed because of the record-breaking government shutdown are being lifted this weekend.
The FAA.
So, Marjorie is calling for the release. President Trump even calling for the release. The House is going to vote on it soon. 24 hours ago, Irlandra, Marjorie Taylor Greene, quote, everyone that voted for Trump Vance, everyone was like, release the Epstein files. This is not even an argument. It's not even debatable. There needs to be transparency.
No. Everyone that voted for Trump Vance, everyone was like, release the Epstein files.
Right.
This is not even an argument. It's not even debatable. It's not being a traitor to the president to sign my name on a Thomas Massey discharge petition to release the Epstein files. No. I am staying true to what we've always said. There needs to be transparency.
Representative Jamie Raskin, 5 hours ago, Eric Darty posts, Jamie Raskin invites Marjorie Taylor Greene to the Democrat Party.
Let me just say a couple more things to you great Florida Democrats. One of them is we are a big tent. We must be a huge, vast tent. I say this is a party that's got room for Marjorie Taylor Greene if she wants to come over.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene flipping D? I don't think so. Trump continues to attack Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here is his post. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 16 hours ago on Truth Social, is a disgrace to our great Republican Party. There it is in another language. Truth for All, 7 hours ago. Let's support transparency and honesty in government. Support a wider investigation into the Epstein involvement with Israel and CIA. Support Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey for their fight for the truth. Please tell President Trump to stop hiding the truth. Alex Jones, warning, Trump's aggressive attacks against Marjorie Taylor Greene and other MAGA supporters has triggered a civil war within the movement that threatens to destabilize the agenda. Here he is talking about the bomb threats.
Construction company business. So Marjorie Taylor Greene just posted on X that they've had bomb threats at her construction company business, and they're getting pizzas delivered to her house and her family's house. People like Laura Loomer made jokes about it and said, "Oh, look at you whining."
I mean, having pizzas delivered is not so bad if you like pizza. But of course, I joke. That means someone has your address.
MTG's been swatted more than 10 times on record.
Yeah.
I've been swatted. My crew's been swatted. And the pizzas come first. Then they talk to the delivery guy to make sure it's the right house and that they talk to you. This is serious. We've seen Congressman Scalise shot, Charlie Kirk killed, so much more. And so I tell Laura Loomer, don't make jokes about this. I know you hate MTG, but we need to turn the heat down here and stop this MAGA civil war. We can disagree with each other all day, but to say that she's making this up or she's a crybaby is bull. Now, this could be a false flag. It's the Democrats that have swatted her and done all this much before. They can be doing this to stir her up and push her in to going against Trump. And MTG responded as if it was Trump coming out calling her a traitor that did this, which is logical. But again, the left are experts at pulling off Jussie Smollett type crap. So we need to de-escalate this. We need to stop fighting amongst each other, just like when Trump kicked out Musk. Really hurt Doge, hurt his approval rating. Now Trump's brought Musk back, brought in his NASA head. We need cooler heads to prevail and stop this big cat fight that's going on between Laura Loomer and MTG. That's where a lot of this started. So this is out of control. This is very, very dangerous, and we'll be covering it all, obviously, on the show tomorrow.
Alex Jones with his deep insight. Alex Jones always is right. Scott Jennings obliterating a former Trump staffer, Miles Taylor, on live TV. Taylor tried to posture as some noble defender of democracy, calling Trump the heart and soul of a fascist. Trump polls support for, quote, lunatic Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's listen.
Hand it to you. That was, of course, everybody knows in Washington, Miles, the fastest way to get in front of a television camera if you're a Republican is to come out and crap on Donald Trump. And so that is what she is doing. Scott, that is what she is doing because she is mad at him over these issues, and that's what happened.
Scott, I trace it further back than that. I trace it back to 10 years ago when you said Donald Trump was an authoritarian. And you know what, Scott, I've got to hand it to you. That was a remarkable forecast because 10 years later, I think you called it. Here's Donald Trump today.
Dude, that guy could not wait to pull that out of his bag of tricks on CNN against Jennings. He could not wait.
Man with the heart and soul of a fascist, showing us he now has the bona fides by tonight ordering investigations into American citizens. That's why members of his party, that's why members of his
upset he's running the executive branch. Why are you so upset he's running the executive branch?
For the same reasons you predicted he shouldn't. For the same reasons, Scott, you said he violated his oath and he should never be back in that office. That's why I'm upset for the man being in the Oval Office.
I happily voted for him 3 times.
I know that.
The alternative was terrible.
And a lot of your friends were shocked.
Yeah, well, a lot of my friends would have been shocked at you trying to subvert the elected president of the United States, which you did.
Well, I proudly did. I proudly
some
said
mid-level
to the
staffer
country
who his judgment for the elected president of the United States.
Well, Scott, I would have loved to have seen you stand up to it.
Good luck.
I always love a good Scott Jennings moment on CNN. This 24 hours ago, Trump threatening to primary Marjorie Taylor Greene is very destructive to the prospects of MAGA in the future. Here is the warning from AJ.
Back to Elon Musk. The situation between President Trump and MTG is very, very dangerous. It's not just isolated to Trump being mad at her for her disagreeing with him on some issues.
Can we all just pause for a second and look at Alex? Dude, he looks freaking good, man. I don't know what he's doing, but I want some of that. Alex, dude, you look great, man. And I regret not seeing you when I was down in Austin when I was at the studio. But, dude, you're looking great, buddy. You are looking buff and ready to fight. And when Alex was in the thick of it, in his court battles, man, you could see it was wearing on him. And now he is just cut and lean and ready to fight. Thank God.
Goes back to Elon Musk being driven out of the administration and Doge getting partially derailed. All the polls, all the numbers showed that killed that massive wave coming in. Trump had the highest approval rating he's ever had. People loved it. Now he's figured out that was wrong. He's bringing Musk back and has given him the head of NASA and the rest of it. But we need Musk completely back. We have to have a big tent in our populist, conservative, nationalist, common sense coalition. We don't need to be at war with Thomas Massie or MTG or any of these people. Or Senator Rand Paul. Yes, they vote their conscience like Ron Paul did. Ron Paul really built, along with myself and many others, the modern launch pad that Trump came in on. I agree with 95% of what Trump does. But when I criticize him on issues I think are wrong, like saying Epstein's a hoax, no, you being involved is a hoax, now you say, oh no, the Democrats are involved, investigate them. We're damn right. So when I saw Trump wrong on that, I said, that's wrong. Oh, my constituents aren't my constituents.
And he's so right. He's so right about the fact that the Ron Paul revolution, which I was a leader in. I mean, I spoke at Ron Paul's 90th birthday party. I was there, and that momentum certainly carried Donald Trump into the White House. I mean, our channel was specifically targeted right after the 2016 election because we were so effective in helping Donald Trump get elected.
If you think Epstein thing is real, you're not MAGA. He lost like 6, 7, 8 points, according to all the top pollsters that I trust have been deadly accurate, like Mark Mitchell over at Rasmussen off that. And he kind of built it back, and now he's doing it again. I need Trump to succeed. If you actually watch MTG in these interviews, she says she loves Trump and he's the best, and she agrees with almost everything he's doing except this, and that, because she's got constituents and she's allowed to have her views, and we're not in a cult. Instead, he said really mean things about her, and now people are trying to say, choose a side, choose a side. This is hurting Trump, it's hurting America, it's hurting MAGA, and we should have people that are able to go on all the other shows like Bill Maher and other programs and talk about things that they think are right Trump's doing and bad things, because again, we're not in a cult. Bill Maher now goes and has dinner with Trump and says he's better than the Democrats. And now
here's what's really happening. You got two strong personalities who both want what's best for America. They're clashing over tactics, okay? Not principles. MTG wants immediate transparency because that's what fighters do. They charge forward. Trump is playing 4D chess because that's what leaders do. They think strategically. Both approaches have merit. Both leaders have earned our respect. But while they're focused on each other, the real enemies of freedom are advancing their agenda unopposed. So this is a family feud. And like all family feuds, it hurts to watch. Trump and MTG, they're not enemies. They're allies having a disagreement. Trump built this movement with courage and vision. MTG has defended it with fierce loyalty and principle. Both deserve our support and not our judgment. The real tragedy would be letting this divide destroy what both have fought to build. The establishment wants nothing more than to see MAGA tear itself apart. They're hoping that we'll choose sides. They're hoping that we'll divide our strength and weaken our resolve. But we're smarter than that. We can support both Trump's leadership and MTG's courage. We can't want strategic wisdom and fearless transparency. So here's the question. We'll talk about it. Will this family find a way to reconcile before the real enemies win? What's your take? Can Trump and MTG work this out? Comment below. And make sure you check out our merch shop. It's linked below. All right. Looks like Melody dropping a super sticker. $19.99. Thank you for that super sticker, Melody. Fan character bouncing their heart-shaped ponytail with stars in their eye. That's so cute. All right, we're at $68.97, leading into our third topic, which, of course, is more talk about Epstein. Because it's not going away, folks. It's not. But I have a feeling, and you'll find out, and I'll talk more about this, but I believe that one of the reasons that Trump wants them out now is because, put it out there, put it to bed. You know, there's too much, well, I'll get to that in this fresh segment before I go any further. All right. We're all a band of brothers in a way, aren't we, Archangel? That's true. Wait a minute. Beekeeper, what'd you say about going to The View? Listen. Alex Jones was on The View. All right? Going on The View doesn't mean she's a traitor. Going on The View, imagine how many people were red-pilled by seeing her. Think about that. Think about the people who fiercely hated Marjorie Taylor Greene only because they saw her painted in a specific light all the time. She goes right into that studio, sits down, and what'd she do? She let America see who she really is. She handled herself quite well in that environment. So all the people who had, predisposition about her finally got to see her as she is. So going on The View doesn't mean that you're running to the other side. It means that you are helping red pill millions of Americans in one single sitting. Think about that for a second before you start to throw stones for her going on that show. Mansam Sang. MTG. Mansam Sung. Excuse me. MTG needs to be loyal and zip it. I'm tired of the Epstein blah, blah, blah. Give each woman affected $10 million. Tell them to zip it. Fixing our country is more important than this. I know it's a big distraction, but we also have to understand what happened there. We have to understand the apparatus, the blackmail, the honeypot, all that was going on in the background because it does implicate the highest levels of government. So, while, yes, we can certainly kick the can down the road, doesn't mean we should. There are victims that do deserve justice, but at the same time, we deserve justice because if our elected leaders are doing those things, then they should not be our elected leaders. And that's why the entire Hill could go down. Intelligence agencies, world governments, everything could collapse. And I think that's why they're trying to protect this so hard. We don't know how many intelligence agencies were involved in that situation. People like to point to one or the other. I certainly think that they're all in on it. All sharing information, all sharing blackmail. So they can all get their agendas pushed through. Compromise politicians. That's how these things work. All right. I'm going to get into this next topic now because I'm saving all the good stuff. Okay. In a stunning midnight reversal that's sending shockwaves throughout Washington, President Trump just called for the full release of all the Epstein files. After months of resistance, after calling out Democrats for weaponizing the issue against him, Trump dropped a Truth Social bomb. We have nothing to hide, he says. The Democrats thought they had him cornered with selective leaks, claiming about Trump knew about the girls. But Trump just flipped the script entirely. The House is getting ready to vote. The panic in Washington, D.C. is palpable. So what forced this sudden change? You see, this is the third rail of American politics, the one topic that makes everyone in power sweat. For months, Democrats have been weaponizing the Epstein issue, selectively leaking emails, just to damage Trump while protecting their own. They drop an email here, a quote there, trying to create a narrative, plaster headlines. But they didn't expect Trump's countermove. By demanding full release, he is exposing their game. So think about it. If Democrats really wanted transparency, why the selective leaks? Why not push for everything? Because full disclosure would expose their donors, their leaders, their network. Clinton, Reid Hoffman, Larry Summers, all named in these files. The establishment thought they could use Epstein as a weapon against Trump. Instead, he's turning it into a mirror that reflects their own corruption. Every delay, every game they've played is about to backfire spectacularly. And while the political establishment panics over hidden secrets, Trump just made another power move that is reshaping America's future. His administration released Executive Order 14241, naming Alaska's Palmer Project as critical to national security. Now, Vizsla Copper acquired this $3.5 billion asset containing copper, zinc, and silver, all vital for our military. When similar Alaskan miners got government backing, guess what happened? Shares jumped 200%. Now, Vizsla trades as VCUFF in the United States. It's led by the team that built Vizsla Silver into a $1 billion valuation. And with Trump prioritizing domestic mining for security, early investors could see some massive gains. There's a link down in the description. Get their presentation there. You won't regret it. Now, the Democrats' plan has spectacularly backfired. They leaked emails claiming that Epstein said Trump knew about the girls, thinking it would damage him. Another email mentioning Trump at Epstein's house. Classic Democrat playbook. Selective leaks, implied guilt, trial by media. But Trump's response was genius. Instead of playing defense, he went nuclear. Release everything. Now, Attorney General Bondi is investigating Bill Clinton's Epstein connections. Of course, we've all known about those. The House has the votes to force full disclosure. Democrats want to make this about Trump. Now it's about everyone. They opened Pandora's box thinking they controlled what came out. Well, guess what? They were dead wrong. Here it is. Manu Raju bumping into Speaker Johnson, talking about the Epstein bill, and Marjorie Taylor Greene asking him if he'll support the bill he's been trying to kill for months. Listen.
Get into the charitable provisions. So I also believe it's an entirely moot point because, as you know, the Oversight Committee is doing all their deliberate work. So
we talked to the president. Do you advise him to get behind it?
He and I talked about it quite a bit, but I'm not going to get into the content of what we said. But his statements speak for themselves, and he has nothing. He's never had anything to hide. He and I had the same concern that we wanted to ensure that victims of these heinous crimes are completely protected from disclosure. Those who don't want their names to be out there. And I'm not sure the discharge does that, and that's part of the problem.
The president has called Marjorie Taylor Greene a traitor. She says that it's impacting her security and safety. Would you advise the president to stop calling her a traitor?
I don't. Look, it's not surprising that the president was frustrated.
7 hours ago, President Trump in the Oval Office. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. Listen.
Bill, here's what I want. We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats. All I want for people to recognize the great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done. So I'm all for it. You know, we've already given 50,000 pages. You do know that. Unfortunately, like with the Kennedy situation, with the Martin Luther King situation, not to put Jeffrey Epstein in the same category, but no matter what we give, it's never enough. You know, with Kennedy, we gave everything and it wasn't enough. With Martin Luther King, we gave everything and it's never enough. We've already given, I believe the number is 50,000 pages. 50,000 pages. And it's just a Russia hoax as it pertains to the Republicans. Now, I believe that some of the people that we mentioned are being looked at very seriously for their relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. But they were with him all the time. I wasn't at all. And we'll see what happens. What I just don't want Epstein to do is detract from the great success of the Republican Party, including the fact that the Democrats are totally blamed for the shutdown. You know, they cost our country hundreds of billions of dollars with that, at a lot of inconvenience. So I'm for I don't. They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much, because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax. And I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time. Here's what I want.
Clearly, he sees it as a distraction, but he says release them anyway. Here he is, 24 hours ago, telling a reporter they're terrible and fake news.
Massey, his fake news like you're a terrible reporter, and fake news like you, they just keep bringing that up to deflect from the tremendous success of the Trump administration. So a guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
Clearly, President Trump, no fan of Thomas Massey. 9 hours ago, Tim Pool, Epstein, deep state, working with deep state politicians to go after Donald Trump. According to the Washington Post, Epstein was colluding with Democrats to obtain testimony in an attempt to destroy Trump. Let's check in real quick.
Hearing that this is crazy. Look at this video from the New York Times. This is nuts. This is absolutely wild. Newly released documents show during the hearing, Epstein was giving advice to the Democrats to go after Trump. The Post reviewed multiple video feeds from the hearing that matched the texts.
Obama was president of the United States. And while we were once driving through a struggling...
This is a bit of an Inception moment, right? I'm playing a Tim Pool clip, and Tim Pool's playing a clip on his show. Sorry, couldn't help it.
...neighborhood in Chicago. He commented that only black people could live that way. Attorney-client privilege, yes, I will turn it over.
You, as my friend Mr. Meadows pointed out, misled this committee even today in a written submission that contradicted your testimony. You have suggested you are going to review that. Did you review?
Whoa.
Are you going to review it in our next break to correct the record, yes or no?
Yes.
Question, you helped out the president's campaign or were involved in the campaign as a representative, as a spokesman, even in your words today. It was your idea for the campaign dating back to 2011. Is that accurate, yes or no?
Yes.
So in this video, you can see
Mr. Weisenberg and other individuals, Ms. Rona. Who are those individuals? Are they with the Trump organization?
They are.
Are there other people that we should be meeting with?
So Alan Weisselberg is the chief financial officer.
This is massive, ladies and gentlemen. This just scratches the surface. But if this rabbit hole goes deeper, what we have is false allegations against Donald Trump, a criminal case that ultimately was brought forward for the first time in history with no unanimously decided upon crime Trump was attempting to commit. That is, it's complicated. And I have since corrected the record, though I'd call myself half wrong. The story is, as it pertains to the falsification of business records, for which this question is about in this testimony, the jury did not unanimously decide that Trump was actually trying to commit any particular crime. Just that maybe there was some crime somewhere. It's never happened before that they've done this. And the only reason they did was because the charges against Trump, misdemeanor at best. Jeffrey Epstein, according to the Washington Post, was colluding with the Democrat to get this testimony, which ultimately led to a fake conviction. Sounds to me, ladies and gentlemen, we have a strong probability, should this rabbit hole go deep, Epstein, deep state, working with deep state politicians to go after Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure. And just one more piece of the puzzle to try to shut down and destroy President Trump. Here's a reporter asking Chuck Schumer. Look at how rapid response. Look, they have the transcription of what he's saying on the tweet here on the screen. Reporter asks a question, and they have Chuck Schumer in the parentheses, moron. Okay, let's hear what this has to say. The reporter says, why wouldn't the Epstein files have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Biden was in office. Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there, why wouldn't they have been released the last 4 years when President Biden was in office?
Well, that's the question every American is asking. Not every American, but so many Americans are asking. What the hell is he hiding? Why doesn't he want them released?
Senator, on that note, just I guess a question that's out there.
Yeah, Chuck. He just said release them all. Here it is. Here's the post. As President Donald J. Trump said, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. It is time to move on from this Democrat hoax. Here is the big block of text President Trump wrote on Truth Social. Lauren Lee posting a clip of Thomas Massie. Quote, I don't even know how to grasp how evil this is. She writes, this is true masculinity, stepping up to protect vulnerable women and children. Young men in this country need more role models like him. God bless Thomas Massie. Listen.
All this other stuff. Here, people say, well, why isn't it easy to come out as a victim? And when I was at this press conference with these women, the depth of the evil I didn't understand until they spoke it, which was as 14-year-old girls, they were told by a friend at high school, come over to this old guy's house, give him a massage, and you can make $200. By the way, he's got a nice swimming pool and all this other stuff. All you got to do is give him a massage. The massage turned into something else completely, and he had their phone number, and then through the shame of it, he compelled them to show up at his beck and call whenever he wanted. And this is where it gets really evil. The only way they could get out of it, of showing up and performing sexual favors for Jeffrey Epstein, was if they found another girl at their high school who would do it in their place. And so they were coerced into, and one of the survivors broke down in tears because she admitted, she just said, listen, I was faced with finding a girl for him to take my place or going back there and doing that, and I found another girl. And so what happens is now, people are still doing this, even after they know these are 15-year-old girls who were coerced into it by an adult man. They're saying, oh, you were a sex trafficker. You trafficked these women. But they don't. I didn't really fully grasp how evil this is. Like, it's one thing to do evil things to people, but to make them do evil things, and then once he causes you to be implicated, then you don't want to come out, because then that's what happens to you. Now, there are people asking, well, why don't these women release the names? And the reason is these are billionaires like that. So what happened is Epstein, once they got to the age of consent, they weren't exciting to him anymore. And he would traffic them to his friends. Now, so you might, at this point, they're going to say, oh, well, there were prostitutes. They were 18. They were age of consent. Jeffrey Epstein was giving them something. And then they did, sexual things with these men. And so what happens is those men who have billions of dollars, they had money to pay off police departments, to lose reports, to pay off judges. What they would typically do is they would, a lot of these girls were from families that weren't very affluent. The family would end up with $150,000 up to $500,000 of money, and the girl wouldn't testify. So basically, that's one of the things they would do. But now they would just sue them into poverty for defamation. And if you don't have the power that the government has to discover these facts, then you can't contest the defamation case well enough, and the process is the punishment. They basically go broke. Just
Thomas Massie laying out the whole plan right there. CNN 72 hours ago was forced to read President Trump's Truth Social post live on air. The one where he says he'll investigate Democrats' ties to Epstein, and their viewers are not going to like what they heard. Trump names names like Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and Larry Summers. CNN being forced to report the news. Representative Ro Khanna on Epstein. People who were there, who were on Trump's side, are now asking him, what happened to you? If Trump goes down this lane where he is actually calling to unendorse people like MTG, where he's threatening every Republican in MAGA, saying if you support that kind of bill, you're not on my side. Well, he's actually not doing that, Ro. Senator Barrasso, Aaron Rupar writes, won't commit to holding a Senate vote on the Epstein files measure, and says this is not about truth. This is about an attempt by the Democrats to make Trump a lame duck president. I'm not going to aid and abet that effort. This was never about Trump, never about justice. It's about Trump, clearly.
Do you believe, which is the big battle over the Epstein files, President Trump has referred to this as a hoax? Do you believe that it's a hoax?
Well, let me give you my take on this whole issue, because of course I want accountability. You want to make sure there's transparency. You want to make sure that the victims are taken care of. What you're concerned, and I'm concerned, is that if there is information out here about other individuals that need to be prosecuted, they need to be prosecuted. But what I saw Ro Khanna say is they want to make President Trump a lame duck president. This is all about him. I fully believe that had there been something here that the Biden administration could have used to go after President Trump the last 4 years, they'd have gone after him with double barrels. But this is
they just went after him in Butler. So here is Senator Kennedy. CNN's Cassie Hunt. Thomas Massie, if you vote to cover up, you've got to cover in the Republican primary, and he's essentially saying the president's going to help people who vote not to release the files. Well, he's going to release the files. End of story. There are at least 20 people in those files, politicians, billionaires, movie producers, who are implicated criminally who have not been investigated. Thomas Massie on ABC News.
What do you think is actually in these files? I mean, we've seen so much Epstein material from the criminal cases, the stuff that just came out this week, from the estate. What do you think is left?
Yeah, I don't have to guess at what's in the files. I've talked to the survivors through their lawyer, and we know there are at least 20 people in those files. There are politicians, billionaires, movie producers who are implicated criminally, who haven't been investigated. And it's up to the FBI, not the survivors and the DOJ, to release those names, or at least to investigate them. And when I see Donald Trump announce a bunch of investigations, I don't see him going after these rich elites that are implicated in these files, according to the survivors.
What do you think is actually in these files?
So here's what the Democrats didn't count on: Trump's willingness to call their bluff. They thought selective leaks would keep him on the defense forever. Drop an email, create a scandal, control the narrative. But by demanding full release, Trump is exposing their entire game. If they really have evidence against Trump, why not release it all? If they really want justice, why the games? You see, the answer is obvious. Full disclosure destroys them and not Trump. He knows it, and they know it. And now America is about to know it. Now look, I'm sick of talking about Epstein. You're sick about hearing about it. We all want this chapter closed, but that's exactly why Trump's move is so brilliant. By demanding full release, he's forcing an end to this never-ending nightmare of selective leaks and political games. When Democrats tried to weaponize Epstein's crimes for political gain, Trump, he could have stayed defensive. Instead, he chose transparency. Release it all. We have nothing to hide. That's a quote. That's not what guilty people say. That's what innocent people who are sick of games say. The Democrats wanted a selective leak campaign to damage Trump. They got a full transparency tsunami. It's about to expose everyone. Clinton, Hoffman, Summers, they're all named. The establishment's blackmail network is about to be exposed, not because Trump's afraid, but because he's fearless. He's betting that sunlight really is the best disinfectant and the cockroaches are scattering. So, question, comments, conversation. Do you think Democrats will regret weaponizing the Epstein issue? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. And while you're down there, find that link for our merch shop and support the network. Speaking of supporting the network, we are literally $1 away from hitting 100. We are almost at our goal, and Deborah Blue put us right to the edge. Deborah Blue, $20.28. I see what you did there, Deborah. I see what you did there. You guys want it? Trump strained his voice, yelling at someone. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone's saying it. All right. We're moving right along into our next topic. I want to find out who is going to put us over the top tonight. Who will it be? All right. Oh, Ranger Xbox is the one putting us over the top at $101.25. There he is. Bingo. Thank you for your support, sir. All right, Brian, let's rock and roll. They promised affordable health care. They delivered a $1 trillion wealth transfer scheme. Now, after 15 years of lies, the Obamacare house of cards is finally collapsing. Democrats are admitting it's broken. Insurance stocks are up 1,000% while families go bankrupt. Dr. Oz, he just exposed how COVID subsidies created massive fraud, brokers enrolling phantom patients for government cash. Even President Trump is done playing nice. The system isn't failing. It's succeeding at exactly what it was designed to do, rob you blind. And the truth is finally breaking through. Now, this isn't just about healthcare. It's about the biggest con job in American history. You see, they told you Obamacare would save families $2,500 a year. Instead, what happened? Premiums doubled. They said you could keep your doctor. You couldn't. They promised transparency. They delivered fraud. Dr. Oz revealing the COVID-era subsidies didn't even help patients. They created what he calls incentives for fraud. Brokers can sign people up without their knowledge. Your tax dollars flowing straight into insurance company vaults. NEC Director Kevin Hassett, he's laid it bare. All those subsidies went right into insurance company pockets while regular policies doubled in price. Think about that. You're paying twice. Once in taxes for subsidies, again in premiums that keep skyrocketing. Senator John Kennedy asked a question Democrats can't answer. If Obamacare is so great, why do you have to pay people to use it? And as we wrap up 2025, it's a good time to slow down and reflect on the year. If there's one thing that we've all learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It is the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan, it's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends over at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below. Or you can call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, and ask Colin how you can get 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. They'll make great stocking stuffers this year. Now, you see, the mask is off completely. Even Democrat Cory Booker admits the system is broken, tweeting about millions losing insurance, but he wants the same people who broke it to fix it. President Trump's solution is revolutionary. Cut out the insurance companies entirely. Send the money directly to Americans. Let them choose their own care. The response from everyday Americans is brutal. One actually said Booker one told Booker exactly what millions are thinking. Why would any sane person want Democrats involved in fixing the disaster they created? The pandemic exposing massive fraud, phantom enrollments, billions stolen, the subsidies that were supposed to help you went straight to corporate profits. Here's President Trump. Listen.
We're negotiating with lawmakers, and I've had personal talks with some Democrats. I can't tell you who they are. I just don't want to do that. It's not fair to them. About paying large amounts of dollars back to the people. You know, this was my idea. It came up during that. You know, oftentimes under times of stress, like the shutdown, you come up with great ideas that you wouldn't have thought of before. The insurance companies are making a fortune. Their stock is up over 1,000% over a short period of time. They are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're not really putting it back, certainly not like they should. So when I see this, and when I've seen this over the last pretty short period of time, I said, why do we just pay this money directly to the people of our country and let them buy their own health insurance? And, you know, I made that statement, and I made it a little bit cavalierly, but it sounded good. And everybody has picked it up, including Democrats. And I am talking to some Democrats right now about doing that. People love it. We're going to take the money. Well, if it gets approved, we're going to take the money. We're going to pay it back to the people of our country to go out and buy health insurance. Now, they can put it in a health account. We can do it a lot of different ways. But they buy their own health insurance. They can negotiate price. And it's going to be locked so they can't go out and buy a Cadillac. They can go out and buy health insurance. We're negotiating.
Wow. Giving the money back to the people. How's that sound? But, of course, he says it's locked. Here's Dr. Oz. Major flaws in the COVID subsidies. Good God.
The president said he will be willing to talk about these subsidies once the shutdown is over. The shutdown is over. So is he willing to extend the subsidies at all?
I think the president's willing to look at all options, but we have some major flaws with the way these COVID-era subsidies were added. And just so everyone's on the same page in this issue, our goal is to get people covered. Especially we want people covered who are trying to work. They're trying to climb their way up financially as they get jobs and evolve. How do you do it wisely? So the original Obamacare had fundamental flaws in it. For example, when you make more than 4 times poverty, there was not an ability to get continued enhanced subsidies. But there are other issues that were also present that the Democrats tried in early COVID to rectify by throwing money at it. Mm-hmm. The problem with the approach that was taken, and if it was a great approach, I actually think they would have made those changes permanent. The fact that they're designed to expire now is reflective of the fact that the current system is not the system that anyone really thought would work long term. It creates incentives for fraud. And I'll just give you one example because I keep reading about this in different contexts, but you can understand it in a very straightforward way. Health insurance is different from other kinds of insurance. You don't want to use your fire insurance because you don't want your house burning down. Health insurance you tend to use every year. In fact, on average, 80% of people use their health insurance during the day. If you're watching right now, think about whether you filled a prescription, went to a doctor's office, you use your insurance. So let's say 20% of the time you don't use your insurance. That was also the number for the Obamacare exchanges. That number has now doubled. Yeah. Doubled. We have last year 24 million people on the exchanges. 11 million people never filed a claim.
So I hear you talk. The president said
11 million people never even filed a claim. Senator Kennedy, 72 hours ago, we were promised that Obamacare would make our lives better. It only made them worse.
We were I'll say if we learned anything through this intergalactic freak show shutdown, we learned that Obamacare is not working. We were promised if we did it, premiums would go down and insurance would be more accessible. It's been neither. We were promised our lives would be better. Our lives are worse. We need to fix it. Just extending the status quo is like putting fresh paint on rotten wood. Now, how are we going to fix it? Well, we're going to vote on revising Obamacare exchanges here before Christmas. We need to put together a proposal that looks like somebody designed it on purpose. I'll say if we learned anything.
Designed on purpose. And you see, Director Kevin Hassett, Obamacare, 100% Democrat, always been Democrat.
The way to think about it, purchasing power has gone up. And so real wages, that's W divided by P for our technical people in the audience, have gone up by about $1,200 this year. So the way to think about it is that we've dug a $3,000 hole because of Biden policies, and we've gained $1,200 on the way out already, which should give you a great deal of hope for the future that the wage increases that we're seeing will continue. And even if inflation stays positive, make it so that people feel way better when they go to the grocery store and to buy a car. We've reduced the cost of buying a car with the deductibility of interest. I mean, there's a million things that we're doing to fix this problem, but it's just kind of astonishing to me that the cost problem is somehow being blamed on us. Now, think about it, especially with the Obamacare thing. So Obamacare is a 100% Democratic policy. It's always been a 100% Democratic policy. What they did is they expanded the subsidies during COVID, and then all those subsidies basically went right into the pockets of insurance companies. And Obamacare insurance policies have doubled in price relative to normal policies. And so the fastest inflation in the economy is these big government subsidies thrown at Obamacare insurance. Think about it. It's kind of like if you give lots of student loans, then the tuition goes up. It's that effect. And so now they're blaming President Trump for Obamacare as well. They should have fixed Obamacare in the first place. And President Trump had a plan in the big, beautiful bill to give people some subsidies, but the Democrats didn't like it because the subsidies weren't going to their campaign contributors, the insurance companies. Purchasing power.
And you heard Kennedy said that they're going to work on that. They're going to change it. And, even I think they should just come out and just call it Trump care. Oh, wouldn't that just be something? Cory Booker posting this 24 hours ago. Our healthcare system is broken. Millions more are about to be uninsured. Jumper quote tweeting, "You're right. You Democrats should have never imposed your lousy Obamacare plan on us 15 years ago. By all standards, it's a disaster. Why would any sane person want Democrats to be involved in this fix?" Senator Kennedy, October 14th, to my Democrat friends, if Obamacare is so swell, why do you have to pay people to use it? The pandemic's over. The subsidies won't fix your broken healthcare exchanges. Let's check in with Senator Kennedy again.
Well, we understand the stakes. There are 24 million people on Obamacare who are receiving the extra subsidies. The Democrats started these things.
Well, the emergency.
They said it was for the pandemic. Well, the pandemic ended 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And of the 24 people on the Obamacare exchanges, 1.6 are getting the extra subsidies. Yeah. And what Biden did was take the cap off. Used to be you only qualified for the exchanges for Obamacare if you were a family for making no more than $130,000 a year. Well, now we've got families making $600,000 a year.
They get the subsidy.
And they get the subsidy.
Yeah. It's almost like the Affordable Care Act is not affordable.
No, that's Josh, you nailed it. That's the real issue. The subsidies, don't misunderstand me, are an issue. But the real point from 35,000 feet is Obamacare exchanges are broken.
Yeah.
I mean, they were supposed to make insurance cheaper and more accessible. It's done neither.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that people will not buy the exchanges unless the federal government pays them to.
Yeah.
It was just...
How ridiculous is that? Dr. Oz, get people to pay $5. Paying 5 months means I don't know.
We're getting full. There are ways for us to continue to cover Americans without allowing the widespread fraud. And I don't want to underplay this. 4.4 million people right now, we believe, are getting full insurance coverage with the Obamacare. Many of them don't know they have that coverage. They're duly enrolled both in Medicaid and the ACA.
Can you fix that? It's the middle of November. Can you fix that in the next 5 weeks?
Well, we could definitely put in incentives to remove that as a possibility. I'll give you a good example. Get people to pay $5. $5. Is that too much to pay a month? Paying $5 a month means at least you have to opt into the program. You can't get falsely put on the program by some broker without you knowing about it.
So are there conversations?
There are ways for us to continue to cover America.
So right there, smoking gun. Dr. Oz revealed people can be enrolled in Obamacare without even knowing it. Brokers get paid, insurance companies get paid, taxpayers get robbed. So he's proposing something radical. Just make people pay $5 a month. Why? Because then they'd actually have to opt in, and the fraud would stop overnight. But they'll never do it because the fraud is the system. The theft is the plan. Obamacare was never about your health. It was about their wealth. So 15 years, that's how long they've been lying to your face about Obamacare. 15 years of watching insurance executives get rich while you choose between medicine and rent. 15 years of subsidizing fraud while being told you're the problem. The Democrats created this disaster. Republicans enabled it. Insurance companies profited from it. And you paid for all of it. And now they act shocked that it's collapsing? They're not shocked. They're scared. Because when Americans realize they've been funding their own robbery, when they understand the subsidies went to stockholders, not sick people, when they see the fraud was the feature and not a bug, that's when the real change happened. Trump's direct payment idea terrifies them because it cuts out their profit machine. Simple question. Have a conversation. Comments. Should we just end Obamacare's insurance company welfare system? Should we just end it all? Does it even need to be replaced? Does Trump care replace it? Yes or no? Comment below and support truth-telling journalism in our merch shop. It is linked in the description. Okay. So over on Rumble, something miraculous happened. Susie Poll 2016 dropped $98, which is actually quite unheard of coming from the Rumble side. Rather exciting, though, I will say. And she simply had the message, let's reach 200 for Gary tonight. So let's do a little bit of math for one moment before we jump to our next topic. We're at 101.25. So 101.25 plus $98. Oh, we're at $199.25. Now you guys can ask in the chat room what happens when we hit 200. They will tell you. But we're 75 cents away, folks. 75 cents away. And we're going into our last topic of the evening. So the clock is ticking. If you want to find out what happens when we hit 200. $100 arrests in a single day. Employers targeted coast to coast. 450,000 missing children are now being tracked down. This is the systematic dismantling of Biden's open border disaster. President Trump, he's unleashed something called Operation Charlotte's Web, and ICE agents are now flooding sanctuary cities. Illegal immigrants are literally afraid to leave their homes. The crackdown earthquake has begun, and the aftershocks are hitting every corner of America. This changes everything, folks. You see, the real scope of Biden's border catastrophe is finally being exposed, and it's worse than anyone ever imagined. 9 million illegals got Social Security numbers, including 9,000 on the terrorist watch list. That's according to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. We found an Uzbek terrorist driving an 18-wheeler through Kansas with a Pennsylvania commercial license. Illinois Democrats, they armed illegal aliens with badges and guns as police officers. 450,000 children were handed to unvetted sponsors. Many were traffickers and gang members. See, this is not about immigration anymore. It's about a systematic betrayal to put every American family at risk. And Trump's response is swift and uncompromising. ICE is targeting not just the illegals, but the employers who hired them, the officials who protect them, and the traffickers who exploit them. While Trump secures our borders, he's also securing America's economic future. His administration just identified Alaska's Palmer Project as critical to national security through Executive Order 14241. Now, Vizsla Copper owns this $3.5 billion treasure containing military-grade copper, zinc, and silver. Previous Alaskan miners with government backing, they saw 200% gains. With the same team that built Vizsla Silver into $1 billion, now running VCUFF, smart investors are taking notice. Trump knows real security means controlling our resources and our borders. You want to get the full story on this breaking news? There's a link in the description. Make sure you visit it. Now, you see, the numbers are staggering. In Charlotte alone, 100 arrests in Operation Charlotte's Web. A San Antonio raid on an illegal sex trafficking club netted 200 criminals. ICE has already recovered 24,000 of the missing children Biden DHS lost. Trump's message to Mexico? It's blunt. I'm not happy. On Venezuela, they dumped hundreds of thousands into our country. I don't even rule out anything. Even liberals are panicking. Jessica Tarlov over on Fox claimed Trump voters didn't want mass deportations. Well, Americans are firing back. That's exactly what we voted for. The employers who've been exploiting illegal labor for decades, guess what? ICE just confirmed that they are next. Here's President Trump talking about going to Congress. Listen.
Get their approval. We like to keep Congress involved. I mean, we're stopping drug dealers and drugs from coming into our country. And I actually told Marco and some of the people, our Secretary of State is doing a great job, by the way. I said, go to Congress and let them know we're not letting drugs come through Mexico. We're not letting them come through Venezuela, and let Congress know about it. We don't have to get their approval, but I think letting them know is good. The only thing I don't want them to do is leak information that's very important and confidential and may put our military at risk, or whoever is doing, CIA, military, etc. But I did say, I said, go and see Congress, see the representatives that we're supposed to be seeing, and be open about it. If they say, we don't want you to stop drugs from coming into the country, I don't think that would be good. We like to keep Congress involved. I mean,
President Trump there in Palm Beach a few hours ago. And ICE now confirming they're targeting employers of illegal aliens, even if the migrant workers don't have a criminal record. Listen to this.
We're going to at least over the first couple of days. And acting ICE Director Todd Lyons said it's not going to stop just at apprehending criminal illegal aliens. Listen to what he said.
We're going to focus on the worst of the worst, but we're also going to make sure if you're here in the country legally, we're going to get you out. And to the employers who employ and attract a lot of these illegal aliens that come in and steal American jobs, we're going to focus on those American companies as well.
Now, there's all of these protests to say, okay, you're not just focusing on criminal illegal aliens, you're focusing on folks who are just in this country illegally, you're focusing now on employers. But this is exactly what the Obama administration did in 2012, 2013, 2014. They went after they prioritized criminal illegal aliens. But they deported a lot of other people, too.
Exactly.
Who were just in the country illegally, and there wasn't a huge hue and cry from the left about that.
If you're in this country illegally, you made two choices, not just to enter the country illegally or stay in the country illegally, but now you have a choice as well. You can leave now, take a $1,000 exit bonus, free flight home, and then potentially return the right legal way. But if you don't, the message is very clear. We will arrest you, but I also think that there are more facts here as well. There's about 1,400 criminal legal aliens that right now are in North Carolina in Charlotte's jails that they refuse to turn over to ICE law enforcement. If those sanctuary city politicians would work with us and actually let us into their jails to take out these MS-13 gang members, murderers, serial child rapists, which I've seen these lists of people, they are heinous individuals who are in these jails. If they are released back into Charlotte and not turned over to ICE, they will go on to re-perpetuate crimes.
At least.
They will go on if you can't get them. Here's immigrants. Check this out. Just in, quote, immigrants in Charlotte, North Carolina, not afraid to go outside because border agents have stormed the region. Listen to this.
And
But many Charlotte residents and local officials say these operations are causing unnecessary fear and uncertainty. This video is from yesterday, people screaming at Border Patrol agents as they approach what looks to be a construction site. And on Saturday, hundreds gathered to protest Operation Charlotte's Web. Many of those protesters say immigrants are now afraid to go outside.
They're having their kids who are citizens go and pick up their clothes and food for them. It's terrifying to pretty much know that at any moment a federal agent can just come out and abuse you just because of the way you look, you know?
There was also a small protest at a local DHS office yesterday. We know 2 people were arrested, unclear why as of now. And the community also held an emergency meeting yesterday about all of this. Dana.
All right, Madison, as that got underway, keep us posted. Thank you.
But many Charlotte residents
afraid to go outside. Don't worry, they'll come knocking. Here's President Trump in the Oval Office 8 hours ago discussing Venezuela.
U.S. troops. You suggested you've made a decision about what you want to do next about Venezuela. I understand you don't want to tip your hand, but is there anything you're ready to rule out at this point? Are you ruling out U.S. troops on the ground?
No, I don't rule out that. I don't rule out anything. We just have to take care of Venezuela. They dumped hundreds of thousands of people into our country from prisons. Nobody knows better than this young lady right here. She's done an incredible job with Tom Homan and all of your people. It's amazing. You know, we have a tight border right now. Nobody comes in. But we had millions of people pouring through. A year ago, we had millions of people pouring through our border. And many of them came from Venezuela, including Tren de Aragua, the gang. And I guess what I'm hearing, Christy, is that's as bad a gang as there is anywhere in the world.
It's the worst. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, they are the worst.
I mean, they're worse than MS-13.
They're killers. They massacre people. They cut them up into pieces, and they bury them in their communities where they grew up. They're horrible people.
And we had a lot of them. And many of them, most of them, pretty soon, most of them are going to be out. But they sent them in like we're a dumping ground. So I'm not in love with the people running Venezuela. I love Venezuela. I love the people of Venezuela. But what they've done to this country, and I really say this, what Biden and the Democrats have done to this country can never, ever be forgotten.
You suggested
and we will never let them forget. President Trump, we've lost hundreds of thousands of people a year. He is pissed off at Mexico.
Look, I looked at, would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do.
Did you hear what he just said? Would he launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. That's what he just said.
Would I launch strikes in Mexico to stop drugs? It's okay with me. Whatever we have to do to stop drugs. Mexico is, look, I looked at Mexico City over the weekend. There's some big problems over there. If we had to, would we do there what we've done to the waterways? You know, there's almost no drugs coming in through our waterways anymore. Isn't it down like 85%?
It is, sir. Absolutely.
I don't know who the 15% would be.
Yep.
It wouldn't be you.
No, that's for sure.
No, I think it's been...
tons and tons.
You would say that's a big signal.
Absolutely.
We have almost no drugs coming into our country by the sea, by, the waterways. And you know why, okay? I mean, it's pretty obvious. Would I do that on the land corridors? I would absolutely. Look, every boat we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. Not to mention the destruction of families. These families are decimated forever. The mother, the father, the children, they never recover really from it. When you lose somebody like the way they live, if you lose them, but the way they die is horrible.
Is it something?
So when we knock out a boat and we save 25,000 lives, that's great. Now, do I feel the same way about the corridors that they use? We know every one of them. We have every one of those corridors under major surveillance. We have nobody coming in through our southern border. But we know exactly how they get their things here, how they get the drugs here, fentanyl, cocaine. Colombia has cocaine factories where they make cocaine. Would I knock out those factories? I would be proud to do it personally.
It's like an old 80s action movie when they blow up the cocaine factories in Central America.
I didn't say I'm doing it, but I would be proud to do it because we're going to save millions of lives by doing it.
Would you only do it with Mexico's permission, though?
I wouldn't answer that question. I've been speaking to Mexico. They know how I stand. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people to drugs. So now we've stopped the waterways, but we know every route. We know every route. We know the addresses of every drug lord. We know their address. We know their front door. We know everything about every one of them. They're killing our people. That's like a war. Would I do it? I'd be proud to. I'd probably go into Congress and say, hey, and you know what? The Democrats and the Republicans would both agree, unless they're crazy. And they are a little crazy on the Democrat side. But we have lost hundreds of thousands of people a year, death. And that's not talking about family destruction, that's talking about death. And much of it comes through Mexico. So let me just put it this way. I am not happy with Mexico, okay?
Not happy with Mexico. Man, talk about giving them notice. Here, check this out. Pennsylvania gave a commercial driver's license to an Uzbek illegal and an accused terrorist, according to Bill Maluzhin. Akror Bozarov, a wanted terrorist in Uzbekistan, was caught by ICE driving an 18-wheeler in Kansas. No federal road funds to states who give licenses to illegal. Nick Sortor writing that. Here's a CDL. They gave a freaking CDL to a freaking terrorist. What the hell is going on in Pennsylvania? I mean, we know what's going on in California. How many, truckers here illegally getting CDLs, killing people on the highway? We've covered that story a couple times already. Check this out. This next clip is a little rough, a little hard to hear just because of the content. So I just want you to kind of be aware of what's coming. Because what they discovered is pretty horrific. And it's probably only the beginning of what horrors await when they start to go out and find these children. Listen to this.
In an infected Fox News alert, ICE announcing a brand new operation to conduct welfare checks on the 450,000 children that the Biden administration placed with unvetted sponsors.
Okay, so did you hear what she said? The Trump administration is going to go do wellness checks on all of these children who were placed with unvetted sponsors, illegal alien children. Think about that. A wellness check. Go in and check and see if the kid's okay. Do you think there's going to be a massive outcry when this starts happening? You think people are going to be freaking out? Oh, he's going door to door harassing children. That's probably what will be the narrative. But what about what they find? How will they respond then? I mean, we've already seen how the media and the Democrats and the pundits, they all respond when you have people killed, murdered by illegal aliens. They don't seem to care at all. Whether it's on a subway train or a bus stop or a park. Young girl out for a jog, never comes back. Young girl gets off work, stabbed. Right? Anyway, just listen.
Fox News alert, ICE announcing a brand new operation to conduct welfare checks on the 450,000 children that the Biden administration placed with unvetted sponsors, some of whom were sex traffickers, gang members, and abusers. The Trump administration has already located more than 24,400 children, and some of these stories are absolutely heartbreaking, like this one. A 1-year-old unaccompanied minor crossed the border during the Obama administration. That little girl is now 12 years old. During her 11 years in America, she lived with a series of relatives and endured horrifying abuse. According to Fox's Brooke Taylor, she was found in the custody of two sisters who have now been arrested. The 12-year-old was found, quote, with injuries all over her body, extreme malnutrition, and an infected gash on her head and zip ties around her wrist. Among those who abused this innocent child were her one-time sponsor, a distant uncle that she was placed with in 2024, despite being an illegal immigrant with a criminal conviction. That sponsor, that alleged abuser, was given temporary protected status by the Biden administration. Why? Here is video that Brooke Taylor obtained of the Trump administration arresting that man just yesterday. This is just one of the nearly 500,000 children that the Trump administration is seeking to protect. And this operation comes after the administration announced that Operation Dirtbag, conducted in partnership with the state of Florida, resulted in the arrest of 230 criminal illegal immigrants, including 150 sexual predators. Here was Deputy ICE Director Madison Sheehan announcing that development.
In just 10 days, we've been able to remove, in partnership with the state of Florida, over 230 of the worst heinous criminals from their streets. Our job as law enforcement is to protect the most vulnerable. Democrats will tell you that that is the criminal illegal aliens who they have let run free in our communities, but not this group of law enforcement. We know that it's the children that is our job to protect.
Fox News alert.
Did you catch all that? Just wait until those wellness checks start to happen. Stuff like this. Border Patrol agents attacked by a transgender lunatic in Charlotte and then led federal agents on a high-speed pursuit. The man dressed up like a woman been arrested and faces stiff federal charges. Commander Greg Bovino confirming the incident. Nick Sortor.
At this time, we don't. So what we had here today was assault on a federal officer. This individual assaulted federal officers at a gas station about a mile away, and then engaged officers in a high-speed pursuit, failed to yield to our lights and siren. She traveled down this cul-de-sac here, came to a stop, and was arrested. That's what we know right now.
Thank you. Was it a protester or?
We don't know. At this time, we don't know.
This video of the arrest from freedomnews.tv. They do tremendous work. What is it with these trans people and these furry people? I just don't get it. Remember this one? Non-citizen hired as a police officer in Illinois. Democrats allowed him to carry a firearm even though it's illegal for non-citizens to own or carry one. Yeah, we covered this a couple weeks ago. Operation Charlotte's Web, 100 people arrested on Saturday by Charlotte Border Patrol and ICE. Reimmigration. Illegal sex trafficking club in San Antonio, raided, yielding arrest of 200 illegal alien criminals.
Still has the... Well, following breaking news early this morning, a large law enforcement presence drawing several agencies to San Pedro and Bassi. This is area just north of Olmos Park. It still has the road closed this morning. Devin Karp is live there with what we've heard back from SAPD and the FBI confirming this is a federal investigation. Devin, a lot of different agencies still out there.
Yeah, Sarah, they're still here, and we've seen about 3 more cars get towed here since we last spoke with you just at the top of the 8 a.m. hour. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. You can still see a lot of different law enforcement officers, some saying police, some have FBI. I've even seen some ATF jackets with a lot of cars, supposedly from federal agents, that are still over here. They appear to be going through the Las Pollitas snack shack right over there, that pink trailer over there. We've seen them go through multiple cars here, and car alarms go off as they work under their investigation. We're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. Some of the nearby neighbors who have just been walking through that area have said they had no clue anything was even going on until this. But if you guys want to look, we got a look at some of the video of what happened last night when this all started around 2 a.m. On this, you can see one of our crews came across those multiple law enforcement agencies, which includes SAPD, LAPD and the DPS with helicopters and a drone. Witnesses also reported hearing loud bangs with several people seeing smoke in the area and taken out in handcuffs. At this time, officers on scene have not released any details about what's going on. And we actually did just hear back from the FBI in a statement they sent to us. If you guys want to be able to look at that on your screen, it says, quote, "I can confirm that FBI San Antonio and Homeland Security Investigation San Antonio, along with their local state and federal partners, are conducting court-authorized activity in the vicinity in the intersection of San Pedro and Basse Road in San Antonio, Texas. Additional information will be released as it becomes available."
200 arrested illegals. More declassified footage of drug boats being obliterated in the Caribbean. Illegal alien semi-truck driver 10 hours ago. Andre Valshin came into the U.S. legally in 2017, was supposed to leave in 2018. Instead, Indiana State Police partners stopped him this week illegally driving a big rig on the roads with a New York driver's license. Another one, illegal, driving a semi. God. The non-citizen hired as a police officer in Illinois. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, the Biden-Harris terrorist administration awarded over 9 million illegal alien Social Security numbers, including 9,000 terrorists.
You know, he's brilliant. He's going to be working to make sure that individuals who got Social Security numbers in this country should be using them for the right things, and they shouldn't be on our benefit programs. You know, we have over 6,000 individuals that have been identified through their work already that have been on the terrorist watch list, that they are known criminals.
How does that happen, Madam Secretary? How does that happen?
It happens when you put a train wreck like Joe Biden in the White House, and it's going to be a lot of work to clean it up. But just in the last 4.5 years, we've had over 9 million people get Social Security numbers that are not U.S. citizens. So they may be people who have some sort of legal status, but a lot of them are illegals that were given a Social Security number in just the last 4.5 years that we're going to have to figure out if they should be here, if they are here legally under a program, and if they are here illegally, then they certainly shouldn't be using that Social Security number to be on our programs, and they should be removed or given the opportunity to go home on their own. That's the one thing President Trump would like, is everybody to be given the opportunity to go home if they would wish to. He's brilliant.
So here's what terrifies them the most. This is not random enforcement. It is systematic deconstruction of their entire illegal infrastructure. Every employer raid cuts off the job's magnet. Every trafficker arrest saves American children. Every deportation sends a message. The free ride is over. You see, Democrats like Rob Menendez, they claim deporting criminals makes us less safe. Tell that to the Americans killed by fentanyl. Tell that to the children trafficked by Biden's sponsors. This is what draining the swamp really looks like, and the evidence is undeniable. Biden didn't just open the border, he built an entire underground railroad for criminals, terrorists, and traffickers. Social Security numbers for terror suspects, driver's licenses for wanted criminals, badges and guns for illegal aliens, children's handed to predators. This was not incompetence, my friends. It was policy. And now Trump is reversing every bit of it. ICE is not just deporting. They are dismantling, not just removing illegals, but prosecuting everybody who profited from this entire nightmare. The employers, the officials, the NGOs, the entire criminal enterprise is being exposed. For years, they told us this was compassion. Now we see it was corruption. The American people, you, voted to end this madness. I voted to end this madness. And Donald J. Trump is delivering. My question now, we'll talk about it. Do you support ICE going after employers who hire illegals? Yes or no? Drop your answer below and show your support with some Next News merch. Okay, guys, well, you did it. You put us over the top. So that means Trump dance time. You could get yourself clean. You could have a good meal. You could do whatever you feel at the YMCA. Come on and do it at the YMCA. You can get yourself clean. You can have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. All right. Was that good enough? Was that good enough? I hope so. Thank you guys for putting us over the top tonight. Sincerely, thank you. Now, what we've witnessed today is not just news. It is the sound of an empire of lies crashing down around the very people who built it. 5 stories and one undeniable truth. The establishment's worst nightmares are becoming reality, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. So think about what we've uncovered. The Thomas Crooks assassination attempt. Tucker Carlson, he's exposing what the FBI swore didn't exist. Foreign email accounts, thousands of Trump searches, connections that lead straight into intelligence networks. Even Eric Trump is saying that something stinks. The cover-up's unraveling faster than they can classify the evidence. And then there's the MAGA family feud. It's got everybody talking. Trump and MTG, 2 warriors we respect, locked into battle. Neither should be fighting. While they clash over tactics, the real enemies of freedom, they're advancing. But here is what gives me hope. Trump is now calling for full Epstein disclosure. So maybe this family can reconcile and focus on the real target, the swamp. And speaking of Epstein, yes, Trump pulled the ultimate power move. You see, Democrats thought they could weaponize selected leaks against him. His response? Release everything. We have nothing to hide. Now Bondi's investigating Clinton, Hoffman, Summers. The blackmail network that controlled Washington for decades is about to be exposed. When guilty people panic and innocent people demand transparency, you know who's who. And the Obamacare scam? Even Democrats can't pretend anymore. Insurance stocks up over 1,000% while families go bankrupt. Dr. Oz exposing the fraud, phantom patients, stolen subsidies, corporate welfare disguised as health care. 15 years of lies finally collapsing under the weight of truth. And Trump's border crackdown? It's not coming. It's here. Operation Charlotte's Web joins a growing list of enforcement actions like Operation Midway Blitz and Operation Dirtbag. Employer raids, tracking down 450,000 missing children. The systematic dismantling of Biden's criminal pipeline. And when terrorists get commercial licenses and illegals get badges and guns, that's not immigration. That is invasion. And it's all ending. So to everybody who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants tonight, you guys are the backbone of this movement. You put us over the top. Over 200, and one just came in. We had this Chris R. Orr dropping $2, putting us right over the top. Then John Gardner came in with another 10. Thank you, John, for that. And then Ocean Breeze Salty, don't do that again. He didn't like my YMCA. Well, thank you for the 5. We appreciate it. Guys, you're the backbone. Your support keeps us on the air, keeps us fighting, keeps us exposing what they desperately want hidden. So tell a friend about the raw feed. Have you done that yet? Share these truth bombs when we publish them as individual segments on the channel. If you want some merch and wear it proudly, just go over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, because it's not just about news, it's about saving and restoring our republic. Until tomorrow, Patriots, keep your eyes open and keep your powder dry. The revolution isn't coming, it's here, and we are winning. I'm Gary Franchi. You've been watching the Raw Feed, and we'll see you next time.
unraveling.